Hello everyone.
Hi, Vishwa.
Hi. Um, Good evening. So today, I'm delighted to welcome you all for the webinar. As I would really like to appreciate, we would like to appreciate you that you took your valuable time and efforts to hear us out. We are your hosts today. I am Harsha Yadav, and along with me, I have Shrishti Day. Today, we are going to quickly give you a helicopter view overview of agency banking in correlation with Africa. It's a well-known fact that all of us know. Finance and technology goes hand in hand to ensure the growth of economy, that is a microeconomy and macroeconomy of a country. The buzzword, as we know, fintech. Fintech has been influencing the lives of millions and billions of people globally. It has not forgotten to influence the lives of people in Africa as well. Having said that, today we are going to address a very small, significant topic. The plethora of services what fintech is offering, out of which is agency banking. Yes, that's our topic today. Agency banking, how it is helping the financial inclusion of African continent, which is slowly being adopted by other parts of the world as well. So, having said that, a couple of topics that we have tried to cover in the session today. Me and Trishti will be navigating you through the topics, like what is financial inclusion, challenges that the traditional banks are facing to reach the rural areas in Africa, reasons why the people are unbanked as they are, and why, what, and how agency banking can help the financial inclusion. Couple of use cases, and the agent management services, how it can influence the financial inclusion. As we all know, Africa is the second largest continent on the globe, comprising of 55 diversified countries. For a nation's holistic development, we all understand that each and every, the rural population is very much essential. It's empowering and facilitating the rural population of a country will definitely help you strengthen the economy of that country in the long run. To ensure the continuous growth and the development of the people, the government facilitates infrastructure for growth. One has to invest in their people for their growth. The investment in rural will be amplified by if we go ahead and amplify the rural infrastructure, that will amplify the businesses that are flourishing in the locality and the likes that will help them to reach their last mile goals. These facilities will leverage the financial institutions to amplify their horizons and in the bargain also increase their consumer base in the long run, and thus this helps the financial inclusion. So when I am talking about financial inclusion, what does it mean? It's a collective effort of the citizens that all basically the governments and all the part of the economy who are a part of the ecosystem helping each and every citizen regardless of their income levels will be a part of the ecosystem of the economy. And why is it needed? Financial inclusion, that's a question that we need to answer today. And that's a question why we are addressing the answers. First, to overcome poverty. As we know, African region, major rural areas are under the below the poverty level. The purchase parity is really very low when we check the indexes, global indexes, and the numbers are really scary. Having said that, it's still grasping up and taking up and leveling up to the global pace. So financial inclusion is needed to assist those people who are thriving to grow and get out of the poverty line. Empowering people, yes. A person who is empowered, who knows how his financial status is, or he is earning on daily basis, day to day basis. If that particular economy is channelized and he himself knows how much he is earning, and in the long run he himself can empower himself maybe by getting better education, better infrastructure, growth. If a businessman is there, he will invest in better way, and also will be exposed to a lot of information globally, and knowledge helps you grow. Social stability. Once you are economically stable, definitely the social lives, crime, criminal rates go down, and so on and so forth. Helps you to have a holistic ecosystem around yourself as well. Once an individual or society starts getting stabilized economically, obviously that has a domino effect on the global development as well. And slowly and gradually, the entire continent, this financial inclusion has its domino effect, and you can say it's actually the side effects of having the good things about being more organized and more stable about the economic growth. As the stats we see, banked and unbanked population of Africa. Having said that, 57% of the people in the rural areas are unbanked in today's scenario. That is around 95 million, and that's a huge number. If we are talking about reaching those people who are unbanked and addressing to their issues, that will definitely help a lot of people for their financial inclusion and the growth of the continent together as a whole. The reason why, when I talk about the 57% or such a huge number, when I say these people are unbanked, there are a couple of reasons that really it caters to. Lack of necessary documentations comprises of like 11%. Lack of trust that they have towards the financial institutions or other institutions which are available or assisting is basically one of the reasons. That comprises of like 8%. Religious issue, not enough money, that is around 22%. Do not need account, that comprises of like 18%, and too expensive because people are unaware what kind of financial services does the bank offer. They are unaware of the fact. Plus, to help a bank, to have a bank, there is a basic cost which is required. So that bank account minimum balance to be maintained. These all charges the bank take from the customers itself, and they have to maintain a minimum balance account. Wherein, there will be. That's the reason. One of the reasons why people hesitate to keep their funds lying in the bank account, and if they are not doing so, they are charged adversely for non-maintenance of the account. So to avoid all these reasons, also bank or people in rural areas, they don't get into these nitty-gritties. They feel it's too expensive. Banks and financial institutes are quite far off, so it comprises of almost 12% of it. And family members already have a bank account, so it's mostly the elder member of the house who is quite knowledge and people trust, and the entire family kind of saves the money into those, in their single account. So again, that is something which is a person who is earning and he's keeping the money. So having access to your own funds also helps you down to think logically and take good decisions in your own favor. Challenges the current traditional banks are facing. As we all know, the cost of brick and mortar kind of operations, or having setting up a branch altogether in the rural economy and the rural areas is a fixed cost, and that cost the branches have to take from the end user, that is the customers. Wherein we are in an era where we want the customers to be charged less and getting more services, but as the brick and mortar, it's pretty expensive in today's scenario. Low profitability. When the banks already have a branch, they have a staff to maintain, there's a fixed cost, and a lot of other stuffs which also comes like infrastructure, creating the entire setup, technology, transportation, employments creating. That will be created, but at the same time, the profit margin will be lower, and that all charges effects shows on the customers as well. Limited ability to scale. A branch will be restricted between the timings. On a branch banking have their own restricted timing. So even if there is a branch which is set up, a labor who is working in the rural areas, maybe farms, or working for someone who is working on daily wages, he will not be able to come down to the branch, after his working hours, because he is already working and his branch is operational during those working hours. So kind of gap between it. So how we can resolve that? That we'll be catering to today. Low adaptability. People, when we are talking about tech savvy branches, it's not necessary that every branch person would be that friendly enough or approachable. When we are catering to one branch addressing to 10 15 rural areas at one place or 10 15 villages, it will be really difficult for them to again communicate because every village will not be having sufficient population as compared to what cities have or metro cities have or tier 1 tier 2 cities have. So again, the adaptability would be low, scalability would be low, agility. Having said that, there is a very rigid time frames with the banks and access to information with the bank if he wants to withdraw funds, having an ATM setup, the network infrastructure at rural areas at present is not that sufficient, or the internet access or connectivity with the internet or banking. So connecting with the funds to withdrawals at the ATMs, providing each and everyone with the ATMs, all those factors does affect it in the long run. So today, to go it further, I would really appreciate if Shrishti you could take it over and explain us about the agency banking. Please, over to you.
Thank you, Aisha, for enlightening us on the current scenario of the unbanked population, and especially why financial inclusion would be needed and helpful for such an economy. Now, to continue, I'll be talking more about how agency banking would boost such an economy and would help such an economy. To begin with, I'll first start with explaining what exactly the agency banking is. In simplest of forms, or in simple terms, when I say agency banking, it's a type of branchless banking where the traditional banks they can extend their services to the users in a cost-efficient manner with the help of the agents. Now, with agency banking, the traditional banks they can target both the unbanked and the underbanked population. All the transactions they are being performed by the agents on behalf of the banks and the institutions. So basically, agency banking is a form of banking where the services reach directly to the consumer's neighborhood with the help of the agent networks that is being built by the bank, and who can then provide these services with the help of a POS machines that supports the biometric verifications and document scanners, or even a simple mobile application. Now, coming to the agency or how agency banking can facilitate the financial inclusion, here are some of the ways that it can help it. First is the neighborhood assistance. Now, agency banking it addresses the major challenge for people that come from the rural and the remote locations, as mentioned by Harsha as well previously. That is traveling to the branches which are usually far away from where they are located or where they are staying. So, by developing an agent network, the financial institutions they effectively deliver the neighborhood assistance without incurring the costs of setting up the branches or hiring new staff altogether. In terms of low cost banking services, banks can lower the fees and charges for the various services that they provide, and instead they can also give more interest on the saving products for the people residing in such rural areas, thereby making them more interested in opening the bank accounts or and continuing the access of the services therein. So they can also remove the compulsion on maintaining a particular balance limit, which can attract more customers and enroll more of such users onto the banking platforms. Then there is around round the clock availability. Of course, agents they can provide round the clock availability, unlike the rural bank branches or the traditional bank branches that work for limited hours in a day. People don't have to take out time out of their schedules to avail these services. Instead, they can just get it done at ease as per their convenient times. Then there is the ability to manage the finances. Now, managing finances is a challenge for people who do not have access to the financial services, and more so for low wage earners. Now, by depositing a part of the earnings of to the digital accounts, people can then begin to build savings and create a credit, which can then help them in case of emergencies for the futures as well. Then there is quick access to the banking services. Now, when we talk about the banking services and how they can access this, Initially or traditionally, the banking services were only available through the bank branches, which are now brought to people in the remote locations in a more affordable, secure, and a convenient fashion. Agent banking, it ensures that everyone gets the quick access to the basic banking functionalities of the services such as cash withdrawals, deposits, balance checks, fund transfers, and more, regardless of the geographical locations or the proximity to the branch of the bank. Now, following are some of the use cases of the agency banking. In real time, the services for the agency banking would solely depend on the core banking solution of the bank, or the CBS that we call it, and the kind of services that they provide. So initially, like consumers can go to the nearest agents to get their bank's account or bank accounts opened. Along with account opening, the agents can also help with the KYC verification. Now, KYC verification, it can be done in quite some scenarios. So at the time of opening an account, if the document expires, the new document needs to be verified again. Also, in a scenario where if the document was rejected earlier, a new document needs to be resubmitted. So, in all those scenarios, agents can help in verification of the KYCs. Apart from that, there is also cash deposits and the cash withdrawals, where the consumers can walk into the nearest agents and deposit their or withdraw the money to and from their accounts. Payments to the utilities, such as the electricity bill payments, water bill payments, gas bill payments, can also be done with the help of the agents in the agency banking services. Consumers, they can also do the interbank transfers, be it within the same bank account or between the different accounts. That is also possible. Consumers, they can manage their cards via agents as well. So, for example, if they want to request a new card, or if they want to report a lost card, or even if they want to replace an existing card, that is also possible directly with the help of agents. Now, in case they want to inquire the balances, they can go to the nearest agent and get the balances retrieved. If they want to print the mini statements and there is a POS system connected, they can get the receipt with the mini statements of the last 5 or 10 transactions that they have done. And also, they can request for a full fledged statement where the request goes to the bank and then is being processed by the bank itself. And then we have got the saving and the loan products. Now, banking's consumers, they also have these access to the saving and the loan products that the banks already have with them, which will then help them in access of the financial services. Again, in near future or any time and at the time of emergencies. Now, when we talk about agency banking, agents, they are the prominent part of the entire ecosystem. And here is how we can manage those agents, or the banks can manage the agents. Initially, the banks would be onboarding those agents onto the platform and then manage their float and the liquidities accordingly. Banks can also create the entire agent hierarchy, create the different levels, define the commissions that can be given out to them, and then do the payouts accordingly. The locations of the agents can also be known. The activities of the agents can be monitored to see how they are performing, how much of traction they are building into the platform, and what are the kind of services that they're providing to the users. Along with that, whatever transactions the agents are doing, all those transactions are very secure because every transaction has a secure barcode authentication in case of POS. And if it's not a POS, then there is a PIN or an OTP verification which secures the entire transactions altogether. And at last, the banks will get a detailed advanced reporting onto the different activities that the agents are performing, what are the different kind of services that are being used by the users, which services need to be worked on more, which areas are more accepting or adapting to the new technologies or the banking. All those reports can also help the banks for further future operations and strategizing their operations accordingly. Now, we already know how, like, we have been talking about how agency banking is helping in financial inclusion, but that is not just the only benefit that agency banking is giving. Apart from that, agency banking is also helping in lowering the operational costs of the bank in a way wherein the banks do not have to build in extra infrastructure, they do not have to hire the employees, they do not have to set up the entire base onto the into the rural areas. Instead, they can just hire the agents and give them the commissions based on the hierarchy and the level that they are setting. With along with that, they are also getting a chance to create and generate a wider customer base, because earlier it was just limited to the users of the urban population that were willing to have the bank accounts. Now even the rural areas will be having the bank accounts and accessing the services. Along with that, earlier it was just a single distribution channel wherein the branches were giving in the services, but now there are agents set up who are also giving out the services to the end users. And all this together, it comes together to the consumer's convenience as well, because again, they do not have to travel long distances to get the access of the services. They can get it as per their convenience at their time in their locations, and very much easily in a secure way. So these overall are the benefits of agency banking. And now, to summarize the entire session, I would request Harsha to take over and just summarize it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shrishti, for giving me the complete insight about agency banking, how the reach, and I am sure uh, this will be helping a lot of people who are listening to this particular webinar in future also to get a more insight, and if they are planning to set up a agency banking, to go further and get started with it. And yeah, there were a lot of blockages or dilemma around it which you resolved today. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So having said that about the the key take points that we are going to take it further from this particular webinar session that we have, agency banking has been prominently influencing the rural banking sector of Africa, as we all know, and it is creating history by history with n number of clients, but still the gap or the margins between what is there in current situation and what we have coming forward is pretty far and sustainable. You can achieve those milestones as we discussed in this particular previous slides as well, and we are because of the agency banking that is going to influence lot and lot of lives going further as well. And why the banks were not able to reach, but because of the agency banking and fintech services that we are offering, or uh, facilities that what government is including, investments are being done for the development and the growth of the rural areas, banks can leverage their particular potentials for educating, influencing the agents, getting them onboarded. The customers can get their pay wages, daily wages accumulated into their savings account going further. After saving accounts, they can think of investing for the development. Going further, they can be more insured, use it for education loan. Now, why I'm talking about getting more education, getting loan, the basic services definitely like electricity, the government will be funding or facilitating them for their infrastructure. But if you have the financial power, you have the ability to think further for growth for your own family, for your own self, and going further. As there was a couple of reports that we have already been discussed that by 2050, we're going to have the African population from 1 billion doubling up to 2 billion going further. And approximately 80% of the people will be moving up from the rural areas, in the rural areas which they are currently. So imagine the youth that will be addressing to going further, that will be having a major impact globally, having the best and the most population which is youth, that will be having a remarkable influences on the economy globally. And being Africa, this will be on the highlight. So everyone will be looking up to Africa for the influence of the development, for the growth, for the good education, technology, financial stability, so and so. The list is enhanced and it is mesmerizing. So if we take small baby steps today, that is definitely going to be influencing and curtailing and helping for the overall financial inclusion and development of the nationwide. 22 countries of the population of 400 million are rated in middle income. in 2025. That is nearly like, 3 years down the line, that more than 10 countries with the population of around 200 million funds or economics, the middlemen or the middle lives, or you can say the middle income people segment who are working for day-to-day lives, planning for their future, families who are having bigger plans, are influenced majorly. And it's coming. It's just 3 years down the line. This is what numbers we have. Imagine this particular figures and this numbers transaction happening, and as a bank, we assist them going further. It's going to be a win-win situation for all of them, even for the banks and for the customers. Like how agents will be gaining revenue and also their skill sets to use computers to mobiles, getting more acquainted with the banking sectors. So definitely, when an agent is also trained, he also generates revenue for himself and his family. Second thing, going further, because of these facilities, even the local businesses in that particular area will be flourishing. The customers get benefited with not just with the savings but also accredited with other financial services what the banks offer, because the bank's customer base is also increasing. And yes, this increases the market share and overall economical growth is boosted as well. So having said that, I would like to conclude this particular webinar session. I would invite all the presentees, if they have any questions or queries today, please feel free to ask. I'll be delighted to assist you.
All right, so we already only have like 2 minutes left for for the session to end. In case, all right, so there's none from. Yeah.
Yeah, good, good, good.
So yeah, we have about 2 minutes left, and in case you have any other questions that come up in the later part of the day, so you can always email us and get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to help you and revert you accordingly.
Certainly. Thank you, Adoji, for letting us know. Sure, Adoji, we will get back to you. Is asking about what is our business model. We will getting in touch with you personally and addressing to this question. Yeah, please drop down your email address so me and my team can get back to you ASAP. So we are offering agency banking solution. That is a white label solution. Yes, we do cater to POS as well in terms of integrations. Yes, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
The complete package, of course, yes.
The complete package. You're absolutely right there.
Sure,
Certainly.
sure. We'll be getting back to you with all the details, and we can connect for a call again to discuss them in details. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuji. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes. We do have the support for integrations,
Similar
yes.
question he has asked, do you provide integration support for connections to the bank?
Of course, yes. All right, I think we are running short of the time. So, in case of any other queries or questions, you can always reach out to us at hello@dgpay.guru, and we'll be getting back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye bye. See you.